Thank you. So, hi and welcome to, I'm just checking it is recording. I've just asked it to record. I've not got the button that's saying record. So welcome to Wellbeing Wednesdays. I'm Nurse Rachel and I'm joined today by Tosh Brittan. My baby's running around in the background. I run Wellbeing Wednesdays, which are weekly wellbeing sessions with guest speakers on one of 4 topics. We have health and wellbeing, parenting, pets and hobbies, and business. So this week parenting is at 12:30. Next week pets and hobbies will be at 8:30 p.m. and our next session we are joined by Sue Melville Art, who does fantastic postal art kits. And I don't want to work at 12:30 every week, and I certainly don't want to work at 8:30 every week, which is why I mix it up. It gives me a little bit of something different each week. For people in the room, including my 2, I will mute you if I have to. Please share the YouTube link, because we are giving our time, we are sharing our expertise and our knowledge with you, and it would be great to see these being shared amongst your friends. And if you found something useful from it, get in touch and tell us. Give us a little comment, tell us why you've enjoyed it. If something's really spoke to you, then please let us know. You could buy us a coffee, or you can buy our services. I have a Ko-fi account for the newly formed Parent Sanctuary, which has helped parents through lockdown in mental and physical health. And that's ko-fi.com/parent sanctuary. So who am I? I am a mum of 4. Oh, I've gone 1 too far. I am a nurse, a transformational coach. I'm my mental health rocks facilitator, a sling librarian. I help people transform their homes to be chemical free, and I founded Parent Sanctuary, which does the nature walks for wellbeing, and we handhold through crying, colic and allergy as well. So it's quite a lot that I've got under my belt, but everything comes down to helping the parent become the parent they want to be. Most parents don't want their children to be subjected to chemicals. Most parents don't want their children to be crying, but they have lives to lead. So this is why I'm able to use all of my skills together to create that healthy lifestyle with well-being at the center of that. This is one of the things that I have had to learn how to do. Whether my children are shouting at me, upset, crying, whining, doing something dangerous, whether it's my husband or I'm driving along, I've had to learn how to meditate in a moment. I had to learn how to take that deep breath and really recognize how I want to react, how I want to feel, and am I actually in the right place to react at the moment? Am I tired? Am I hungry? Am I going to be thinking that I've overreacted if I let this venom spew out of my mouth? So I help my body by changing my fight, flight, freeze, by taking that deep breath. I reoxygenate all of the cells in my body. I give myself a little hug. I give myself a little massage, because that deep breath uses so many muscles. It works on my whole body and it changes my physiology. So I want you to join me at the moment and bring your shoulders down from your ears, because I know that they creep up there, especially when you're stressed. And I want you to remember to breathe deeply as a regular occurrence, not just when you're feeling stressed, because I want you to have this as part of your daily routine. So when you do need to reach for it, you can know what you're doing. It's there. It's something that you grab hold of just to turn yourself around. It's not just something that you forget about in the moment. Now, lots of people might tell you to do square breathing. They might tell you to imagine a shape, or that you're a buzzy bee, whatever works for you. But for me, if I have to count or follow a pattern, I'm going to get myself tripped up and spend more time thinking about that pattern or that animal than I am about just breathing in slowly and then breathing out slowly. And it is so important to me that I share it with everybody. So this week's speaker is Tosh, and I'm just going to stop the share so that Tosh can become centre screen and tell us about how she helps parents and children, because Tosh works with both children and parents and people in general. So Tosh, there you are main screen. Tell us about yourself. And I'm going to...
I'm literally just sitting here in awe of you doing all of this with two small, your boys. And I'm like, absolute respect, and just, yeah, I'm in awe. So thank you for being so amazing, and thank you for holding space for lovely parents as well and children. So my name's Tosh. I have for the last 15 years been a therapist and a mindfulness teacher. I trained in 2015 to be a mindfulness teacher. And I work a lot with, so as a therapist, I'm a Reiki master teacher as well. And I work a lot with people going through really, really tough life shocks. You name it. I've worked in charities with teenagers, teaching mindfulness, for teaching ladies with breast cancer. I also work a lot with parents who've lost children as well. And I also work with divorcees. So one of my hats is my divorce goddess hat, which is a podcast and not so much a blog anymore, more of a podcast. And I have an Instagram. I've got a little dog who's just moaning over here a lot as well, wanting to go out. And I also teach mindfulness in schools as well, because one thing I've learned is that families as a whole, actually, so when you teach children, I supply all the information for parents as well, because actually everybody needs to be supported, and how lovely that families can share this practice. And Rachel, you mentioned breathing as well. I was sitting here going, yeah, I don't know if you saw me like nodding away. And actually, I have two children myself. My daughter I just said goodbye to this morning, is going back to university, and I have a 17-year-old son as well who's going back to college next week, but he's with me. I'm divorced as well, so I have been that mother of a small baby who was very ill. And when you said colic, I was thinking, oh God, crikey, I wish I'd had you as well 17 years ago, when my now ex-husband, who I'm friends with, disappeared overseas for months, and I had to ring some random number in a government institution to find him and tell him that his son was going into hospital and all this stuff as well. So I understand about the difficulties, the sort of miscommunication that can happen as well, and being a mum, and also being a single mum as well. And yeah, I think that, is that covered it all of it, or is that more than probably?
So yeah, that sounds really fascinating, actually, and I can really relate to the husband not being around. My husband works sporadically away, so generally he's never away for more than 5 days. But I could find out on the Sunday that he's going to Scotland for the next 5 days. As one of his colleagues found out on after the bank holiday, he was expecting to be working from home last week and ended up having to work away because we needed my husband at home on the Tuesday morning. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, but his job keeps him away a lot. And having that notice, it wasn't working for my nursing career. Being able to say, yes, I can definitely do this. And my husband's career was saying, he's doing that. So yeah, raising the children whilst being on my own, a lot of the time it creates conflict. And learning how to live together, even though a lot of your time is apart, it has caused friction. But I hope we're still on the right track. It seems like it.
I think you kind of know, but if I was just going to say, if there is that little voice, I'm all for, you know, trusting your instinct and becoming so aware of your body, and so aware of what is your body telling you. So if you got a bit of a rock in your stomach, you might be feeling a little bit anxious about something, or maybe your shoulders start to ache, or maybe you're getting a headache, you might get a migraine, or maybe you just feel a little bit sort of all over the place. And that is, I'm all for your body is your best barometer of how you're feeling. So if something's going on in your life, you're probably going to have it reflected somewhere in your body as well. So those elements of self-care, and I know as, you know, as mums and parents and doing it, and especially if children are unwell as well, and you're balancing work and everything else, it can be very difficult to take those moments out to sort of check in with yourself. And I just, I think, Rachel, you're happy for me to share a couple of tips on how we can. So one of the things, and I teach this to the children as well, is I always say, just write this on your fridge. Write HAILT, and it used to be Halt. So it's amazing coach. Oh my goodness me, Simon, I think it's Simon Willard, and Dr. Simon Willard, and he was talking about HALT, which is if you're hungry, and Rachel, you alluded to this earlier, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And when I was teaching the ladies in the hospital, they said, oh, can you put ill in there as well? And sometimes, obviously, when we're coming down with something, a bug or something, we will end up kind of feeling a bit grumpy a couple of days before we go, oh, that's why I've been feeling like this. So I always recommend couples and families as well to write HAILT on a big piece of paper on the fridge. And sometimes you actually just don't need to say anything. You can just go, like, just point at the fridge and go, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling one of these. And, you know, maybe you might not be up for a conversation. Maybe you might feel guilty for still being, you know, for working in the home as opposed to, you know, working out. And there are many, many families who got all sorts of challenges, I guess, with working and wages and, you know, money as such. And you know, sometimes we don't have that energy for that conversation. So just being able to, and if you have younger children who may be, you know, feeling a little bit all over the place, you can say, listen, you just have to point to one of these letters and tell us how you're feeling. And that can just be something very, very easy. Also, I encourage families as well. When we were younger, we had, when my children were younger, and we were having it was kind of tough, and also through divorce as well, just as a family, as we had a worry turtle, which was a pottery turtle, and had a lid on it. And if anybody in the family had a worry, they would write it on a piece of paper and put it in this turtle. And my youngest son would go, oh, what's in the turtle today? And it would be an opportunity for us all to sit down, and for my husband at the time, my ex-husband, we just used to sit and we used to talk. And actually we've done it since we got divorced as well, and we've needed to. And it would just be like let's talk about it, and we'll give suggestions on how we can help each other. And just in that moment of you as a family sitting down talking about worries, it almost creates that space for you and your husband or your wife, or any, you know, fathers who might be watching as well, to be able to sit down and just kind of, okay, there are worries, and it might just kind of ease that way if you're feeling maybe slightly sort of protective of yourself as well, because you are tired, or maybe you're stressed about something, and it just creates a sort of a space in which, you know, these things can drop and be spoken about.
I love that. Was my first. We focus on the positives at dinner time. So we'll sit together as a family, sit around the table to eat our meal. And we get something like our little peas peggy, and we play spin the bottle with it. So it spins, and who it lands on gets to tell us their favourite part of the day. And we really like that for turn taking and acknowledging that there has been something good in your day. It might be hard to find that good thing someday.
So it's kind of like a gratitude, and we kind of create a gratitude jar. So, you know, if you as a family can kind of make a thing every week to write down 3 things that happened that were good for each of you, and put them all in the jar, because so often, you know, we go through life and we only remember the negative things sometimes and the bad stuff that happened. And I kind of call it the sunshine happy jar, because when you've got all, and you write all the good stuff down, then you put them in the jar. And that's what I do with children as well, in the school. And at the end of the term, we'll get the jar out and we'll go, oh, I forgot that happened, or I forgot. And it's this lovely jar of all these lovely things. So if you're having a tough day, and kind of encourage you as well. If you're finding life tough and you just feel this, it's just, you know, on a negative bias, and it's not because you're not doing anything wrong, it's just because life is tough, that maybe just have a notebook yourself if you wanted to, and just write down 3 things before you go to sleep. And that puts your mind in this beautiful sort of a sort of happier state rather than the warrior state, and then your sleep as a result is generally better. And for you just to write down 3 things that happened, 3 things that were good, 3 people that were there for you. It might be a smile from somebody in the supermarket when they're handing your change back or your receipt to you. It can be, you know, somebody you passed in the street. If you've got a baby in a pram and somebody smiles. And I have to say, I always smile at mums. They might think I'm completely bonkers, but I don't care, because when I was pushing my baby, I really needed somebody to smile at me on some of those days when things weren't quite so good. So the practice of gratitude is a very powerful, or saying thank you. You know?
We have that with Parent Sanctuary as well. We have a back office happy jar that we put when someone said they've enjoyed a walk, or they've given us positive feedback, or we've had a compliment on our branding, anything. We do have like a little happy jar, and we make a note of it for the days when it feels like, why are we doing this? So all of those thank yous, they go in that happy jar.
It's so important as well. And every time you say thank you, it's like this, it's like when people say, oh, nothing ever good happens to me. And sometimes, you know, finding happiness is those tiny little glimpses of light during the day. And people go, when I get to this place, I'll be happy. When this happens, I'll be happy, or I'll find happiness. And it's the journey, it's every day. But the more you practice, the more that little neural pathway becomes more, you know, that part is kind of registered. That's that little happy place, and you can drop into it. And we kind of exercise it, so it's like a muscle. The more we practice something, the stronger it gets. And that's the same for our, you know, our thinking processes. And
my visualization on that is a field. You can walk through a square field in millions of different paths. But the one that you walk down most often will be the one that stands out to you. So if you feel like everything is on a negative, you can choose to walk a different way and bend down some other path, blades of grass. You're your path isn't marked out for you. You've got those options.
I love that. That's just to remind me of two things, actually, because when I talk to divorcing clients, we talk about, and you can put this analogy with anywhere, it's like having that, that lovely green valley, and this is just a period of time. It's not your whole life. And just to, and the sort of furrows, I talk about furrows, like each day is a furrow, and some days you got, that sticky mud on your welly boots, and some days your boots feel really heavy, and other days your boots feel lighter because some of the mud's dropped off. And that's just light. But when you were talking about finding different paths across that field, it's the practice of doing something different. So, each week choose to do something different. It might be going around a supermarket a different way, or walking a different way to school or work, or wearing a different color, and just get into that place of doing something differently. So you are more open to, basically just doing things differently. And when it takes us off that automatic pilot we talk about. So it's for example, if you're driving from A to B and you get to B and you go, oh my goodness, how did I get there? And like being a tired, stressed mum, I used to do that all the time.
Don't you often find that there were roadworks on the way that you'd planned to go, though? Like, there's something in your autopilot that means that you avoid that accident, that roadworks, that diversion that you had absolutely no idea was there, but your your planned route becomes a different route. You're like, but I was going to go that way. Oh well, I'll just carry on.
Yeah.
And you find that that's created,
and that was the right route.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. That's, one of my favorite words is serendipity. And it's like that, and that's the happiness. That's the wonderment of like, oh my goodness me, if I hadn't have done this, that wouldn't have happened. And sort of getting out I talk about your comfort zone is actually your discomfort zone, because it's the place where we're small. Yeah. And actually your comfort zone is this massive, amazing, okay, not so much at the moment, world, but it's, notice when you're just doing the things because you're worried about doing something new. And as I said, doing something new can just be like buying a different flavor tea and trying a different flavor tea, buying a different vegetable, making a different dish or something, wearing a different color.
Babies are the absolute epitome of what you just said. They're in a womb, which is a safe space.
Yeah.
And the only way that they can grow is to be born into this really big, wide open, scary place. And they thrive.
Yeah.
And every single day they are learning at an exponential rate. They are doing something amazing every day. And every single time they fall down, they bump, they bang, they bash. They get up and get on with it. They don't spend 2 weeks upset that they didn't learn how to walk today.
I agree. I love that, actually. And that sort of brings me onto this, we were talking about the breathing and sort of, I talk about having a balloon inside your stomach. So you kind of trigger your body's natural relaxation response. You breathe into your belly and your belly expands and contracts. And again, don't have to think about numbers, just follow your breath into your belly and back out. But also to get into this place where we become more aware so we can manage ourselves better is the practice of stop. And it's almost, if you can, just set a buzzer on your phone to go out off every couple of hours, or you can do it every hour you want, or there's timers, you can have it with sort of lovely beautiful bells that go off, and just stop. And you might be thinking, I haven't got time to stop, but actually it's in the stopping that it's such a powerful practice. So it's stopping, taking a breath, so taking that lovely deep breath into your belly, observing what is going on. And if you're a busy mum, it's like, maybe I need to drink some more water, maybe I need to eat something, maybe I just need to put my children down, or I need to stretch, you know, and then proceed as well. So it's stop, take a breath, observe, and proceed. So you're checking in on yourself. And as we know, as mums and new mums, self-care is so important, and it's like we need our oxygen mask on first.
So one of the things that we had a chat about was, as we are so madly in love with our partners, we have our amazing wedding. I'm just looking up at our anniversary pictures that we were going to do every year. We did the first year. But I look gorgeous.
You've got a funny story with it.
So yeah, we're so madly in love with our partners. We get married, we have our accidental or our planned babies, or our very, very much wanted and IVF conceived babies. And then we're tired. We don't realize quite how much motherhood changes us. We don't give birth to a baby. We give birth to ourselves.
I love that.
We have such a power to keep these babies alive, and things are difficult. Breastfeeding's difficult. Getting up in the middle of the night to feed them's difficult. Listening to them cry hurts. Seeing somebody hold your baby and try and settle them, when you know if they just give them back, they'll settle for you. But the other person has to learn how to be with that baby when you've had 9 months of growing that baby. All of these things put us in that halt. What did you say?
Halt, or whatever. Halt with an I.
Halt with an I. They put us in this halt with an I place. Halty.
Halty.
And we're struggling. Both of us are struggling to regulate ourselves and care for this little bundle of baby. The baby gives us all these challenges as a newborn, but what we don't realize is, as we learn how to manage one challenge, the baby's actually growing a whole new challenge that is worse than the last one, until they become teenagers, and then they have some right humdingers of a challenge for us to get over. But all of these things that we're trying to navigate as a relationship between husband and wife, then having to factor in the child. And I know that like transitioning to one baby was hard. Transitioning to 2 babies, that was really, really hard.
I'm so glad you said that, because I really found that 2 babies was just, and
then 3 and 4 is fine.
Because you're like Wonder Woman by then.
It's a bit like your first baby's going to be organic fed, your second baby is receiving chocolate before the 6 months, and your third and fourth, they're just
and then you get
along with the ride.
They get to the teenagers and they go, well, have you got any photos of me? And you're going, oh my God, I just didn't take hardly any photos of you. The guilt, the parental guilt, I just want to say, it just doesn't ever stop. That, can we just say it, it's just different stages. So, I think it's part of that practice of acceptance that actually this is where we are, and to focus on all the joy that we do have with them. And again, it goes back into that sort of, you were saying, making those new paths across the field. And I'm going to say to you, having babies for me just did not, I was not a natural a natural mum, but babies, I just suffered massively from loneliness and just feeling very, very cut off. So yeah,
it's a very, very tough time.
it is. And I just want to kind of say to parents as well, there's always somebody who's there who's going to give their opinion about how you should be doing something. And do you know what? That doesn't ever stop. So the sooner you get used to just letting the stuff go, and it says more about the people that are giving all this stuff to you, then, so just forgive yourself for going through a really tough time. And especially with what has happened in the last year as well, like really give yourself a big, amazing hug and just say to yourself, wow, I've done really, really well.
Yeah. I try and work with parents and let them know that they have 3 voices inside their head. They have their mother's voice. And she's going to come out when you least expect it, and you're really not going to like what she says. You're going to have your society voice, and that's the voice of the Karens of the internet.
The school gate.
I'm really sorry, Karen. I love lots of Karens. There are lots of really nice Karens, but Karen has become the word of the woman.
I know. I feel like Karen's got a really bad rap these days, which is a bit of a shame. But
yeah, it's those opinions that are loudest that you'll make a rod for your own back. Just let your baby cry. They've got to learn how to self-settle. These very strong, powerful society voices that make you question why you're doing something. And then you've got this, and Karen's always judgy as well. Don't like, she's always so judgy.
And do you know what? It never stops either.
And then you've got your instinct voice. And this is where your stop will come in to help you find your instinct voice, because your instinct voice is the voice that you need to listen to.
Totally. Totally. You are. And I think that, in so many areas of life and society, we are so conditioned to think about what everybody else is saying. We've almost given our power away, and we've lost that sense of owning our motherhood, owning ourselves as well. And mums and dads, but I think particularly women, I don't want to kind of go into any dad bashing at all, because you're all lovely as well, but women, I think, have sort of felt quite disempowered for many, many years. So actually really owning yourself, and owning yourself starts by actually getting to know yourself, being with yourself, checking in on yourself. How are you doing? How can I best do this? And maybe things like, because I've got to go and do some exercise. Our bodies are all different, and when you have more energy, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon to exercise, or the evening. It's about really just checking in on yourself and learning more about yourself. And the more you learn more about yourself, like, you can then turn around to these people and say, actually, I'm far, I know what's happening. Yeah. And have the confidence to do that, because, I've judgmental mothers. I always used to say to myself, this is their stuff, so you leave that with them. You say thank you very much in your head to whatever they're coming out with that are making you feel less than you are, and then you say thank you very much, and you, in my head obviously, and then just sending all their words back to them. And I didn't need to take it on.
I think so much of those opinions and those comments, they come from a place of love. So I have to compassionately accept that their place of love is trying to do me a kindness.
Yeah.
And the choice of words in the moment has been what I've been upset with. And just to acknowledge that you know, most people are not trying to be hurtful in their judgments. Most people are not out to get you. And when we're tired and feeling fragile, we will take it the wrong way. And if any of those people find out that we've been upset by their words, they'd be absolutely devastated that they've done something to hurt someone. Nobody wants to be going around upsetting anyone.
No, but if you notice that you're feeling like that,
you can choose who to hang out with as well.
Water off the ducks. Sorry?
You can choose who you want to hang out with as well.
Yeah, and it's like water off a duck's back, you know, as well. If you notice somebody's going to be like that, or maybe they might be a bit judgy with you, and just kind of just see it as water off a duck's back. Just see their words just dropping off you. And you don't need to take it on. And actually, as you said, Rachel, just being that, and this goes for couples as well. I know it's very nice to have couple friends with babies, but if there is a couple friend with children that don't make you feel so good, there are probably other couples out there that would love to be friends with you as well. And I know it's quite difficult, but these are really, you know, these are really important years.
They are, and I've got friendships where I feel I have to try, and there are reasons why I keep those friendships, but there are friendships where I would quite happily give birth in front of that mother and not feel like I had to hide any of my body. Like, I don't have to hide my flaws in front of that mother. She's just my friend through warts and all.
I love friends like that are solid gold, I have to say. And if any kind of parents are going through tough times as well, I would really encourage you to stay with, you know, to see those friends who are rock solid gold for you, who love you both, who are there to support you. And this is one thing I kind of encourage when I'm talking to people and I'm coaching through divorce and separation to do it better, because I'm a big advocate of kinder divorces and kinder separations and working your way and flipping kind of your mindset around it as well. And I would really suggest that if you and maybe, you know, your husband or your wife are having a tough time at the moment, it is just to spend time with those people who love you both, who are there to support you. Rather, I know pubs have opened up, so we can always talk about pub lawyers, or, you know, people who are going to exacerbate and increase those feelings and those thoughts of, oh, maybe this isn't good. I mean, if your relationship is not good, or there's abuse or something, that's abuse, certainly it's a completely different, you know, conversation. But certainly if your relationship is going through a blip, try and spend some time with those who love you both, who you can just have a bicker with, and they can just kind of help you sort it out. And it is that element of self-care as well, as, you know, try not to share stuff with people who you know are going to be who are going to fuel the fire as well.
So we know that getting married is an expensive business, and we know that getting divorced can be an expensive business, but getting divorced messily is excruciatingly expensive.
And it just the fallout, the emotional fallout. And I'm sure everybody's met somebody who's been through a divorce, and they just say, and it's almost like just don't want to go there. It's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, because it you know, and that's kind of one of the reasons having parents with the 30-year divorce and still not speaking to each other. My teenagers going, what is it with granny and grandpa? I mean, they can't be in the same room, or they can't be in the same road. And
you've still got children with that other person. You can cut all ties, and again, that caveat that abuse is a completely different story. But if you've fallen out of love, if there's been infidelity, if you just can't move past something and divorce is the answer, still gonna have to parent with that person.
Yeah, totally. And actually, you can use the best bits. I always suggest that you can use the best bits of your relationship before it started to break down, and use that to sort of almost project manage your way out of it. So look at it as a project. And so that sort of takes out the emotion. So you have the, you know, the foundational stones, right? This is what I'm good at. This is what, you know, and if one of your, you know, maybe your soon to be ex is not good at finance, help them out. You know, help them, you know, if they didn't have anything to do with finances, or they don't at the moment, you know, as somebody, if you know your ex can't cook and they're going to have your children, just fight, you know, teach them to make a couple of dishes so your children are well fed when they go there, rather than, you know, just oh, this is my big thing anyway. So anyway, I don't know.
No, that's brilliant.
If you follow me on kind of my you know, on my stuff, then you'll kind of know I come up with all these tips, because for me the tragedy is, you know, yeah, is just the fallout, you know, later on.
So you work with people before the divorce, during the divorce, after the divorce?
I work actually, interestingly, in all three areas. So I work a lot with women who have actually need to find themselves after divorce, and that's sort of later on in life. I work with couples, and particularly somebody who wants to make the move to leave, but doesn't know how to do it in such a way, and is worried about having that conversation, how it's going to impact on the family and their future, and how to do it in such a way. So you sort of prepare a plan on how to do it, and obviously we don't know how the other person is going to react, but give it in such a way, or present it in such a way, that actually there is some light in all of this. And obviously when people are having in loggerheads, and it's costing them a fortune, they suddenly have that moment where they go, actually, I just don't want to do this, I don't want to fight anymore. That's when I do it. And I'm really excited to share this. I've committed to get my book out in 3 months. So
congratulations.
I know. I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to go on to there's an amazing app called Our Family Wizard. And I'm going to be doing a big seminar with Bill Hewlett, who's this sort of leading light in mediation in the UK. And it's me and this Family Wizard app. And there's a barrister as well. And we're all going to be doing a big webinar in July. So talking about kinder approaches to divorce as well. And actually that's about yourself.
I've got a piece in a book, Not Another Parenting Book. So I can join you on that, Authorhood. I've got my own book, There Was a Baby, for reading to rainbow babies, to explain that there was a sibling before they were born, and just keep that sibling memory still with the family. They're still a part of that family, but it can be quite a difficult subject to bring up with a youngster. And it can almost become this secret that's never spoken about, because you don't know how to broach it. So it's a lovely picture book with a simple poem, just to help open that conversation, that, you know, little baby Fred was growing, and baby Fred was going to be part of the family.
I love that. I think it's not being scared of having these conversations, because we worry about what other people are going to think, or children. And actually children are so open to all of this.
So yeah, I can join you in that.
Love that.
And good luck with it, because it's so fabulous when your book is there with your name on the front cover.
I know. I've got the cover. I know what colour it's going to be. And I'm writing it with my mindfulness teacher and my mindfulness community as well. So I've got an editor, and it's all going to be, and then it's going to become my program as well. So help people through the process.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I was just seeing if there was anything else that we can sort of say around divorce, because it is just so hard to to keep that relationship together. If you can find a way, then that's brilliant. And if you can't, then find a way to work together. And using a coach, that's what I was going to say. The reasons why people would use a coach over a friend or a family member or a couples counsellor, I guess it's because it takes the emotion out of it, and it allows you that space to talk freely and develop your plans. Your dog wants to come in.
Can you hear my dog in the background? She's such a little whiner, honestly.
Thank you very much.
Black Russell, but
you let your dog in. I'm just going to close off, and we'll pop comments down below for links for Tosh.
And thank you so much for having me on as well. Lovely. And I just love looking at your little squidge on your shoulder as well. That's been really lovely to see.
So just in closing, Tosh, you can open the door and let the dog in. One of the ways that I help parents, I said at the beginning, was going chemical free. And I do this because I've used these products for years. They help me make cleaning easier, quicker, and I don't spend money in the supermarket on cleaning products. I could take my makeup off for £16 for 3 years. I can clean my bathroom for 3 years for £79. This is something that I absolutely love. It's 100% carbon neutral, which means that they're really taking an effort to protect the planet and protect our homes. So if it's something that you're interested in, then please do send me an email and I can help you become a NeoPure too. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and comments below, please. Thank you.